Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. This week I've been thinking about this idea of self-trust. It seems like a very fun topic that a lot of us sometimes can easily do and other times not so much. And what I've started to notice is there are times when we have a visceral feeling about something. And instead of just going with that, we start to logically talk our way out of it, saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. You should do this instead because X, Y, and Z. And then oftentimes when we go down that path of logic, the thing that we didn't want to do didn't sound that great to begin with. So in our practice today, we're going to work on just taking moment by moment opportunities to check in. It seems that, most of us are enculturated from a very young age to not trust what we're feeling, to do something else that's more socially appropriate. So today, permission is given to do whatever the heck feels good to you. I will give you suggestions. You can try it, you cannot. It doesn't matter, but I want you to continue to notice what happens to your breath as you do it, what continues to happen to your body and your sense of groundedness in your body as you do it. So we're going to start by having a tall seat, and you might sit on a block, you might sit on a blanket. And the first thing I'd like you to do is just allow the hands to rest wherever feels comfortable for you and allow the gaze to drop down or close inward. And you'll start by just taking 3 to 5 breaths here. And I want you to notice how it feels good to breathe for you. Do you want to allow a deeper breath, an audible breath? Do you want to allow a little bit of movement to add in a deeper breath? And you're just noticing how you can find a little bit of stillness, a little bit of comfort and stability right here and right now. And keeping the eyes closed, you'll inhale and just lift your chin up towards the sky, a little stretch in the front of the neck. And then you'll exhale and allow the chin to drop forward. And as you take 4 more of these, I want you to just notice what you notice. Where is there a slight pull of a line of fascia? Where do you feel a bit of stretch? Where do you feel a bit of compression? And you can go as little or as big as you want. You're just really starting to notice how this feels. And after this next set, you'll just bring your head back up to center. And you'll take a breath in there, and then you'll exhale and drop the right ear towards the right. And you'll inhale back through center and left ear to the left. And again, you've got 4 more sets like this. And you're just paying attention to how this feels. Do you want to turn your chin slightly down towards the shoulder? Do you want to turn the chin slightly up? Do you want to open and close the mouth a few times to stretch the neck on the opposite side? And you're just paying attention to how the breath is moving and how you're feeling. And then you'll come back to stillness after this next one. And then we'll just take a head circle. So you'll exhale and your chin will go down to your chest. Your left ear will come towards the left shoulder. Your gaze will go up towards the sky. The right ear will come towards the right shoulder, and the chin will come back to center. And so you'll just do 3 each way. And again, you're just noticing what it feels like. How small, how big. Are you still paying attention to how the breath is moving as you're doing this? And after you've taken 3 one way, you'll go the other direction. And again, there's no rush. One of the biggest things that I notice disrupts my ability to trust myself is feeling pressured to move at a pace that's either faster or slower than what I feel is most vibrant and alive. And so you're just taking a moment to see how you are right here and right now. Awesome. And after you've done those, you'll come back to center. Keeping the eyes still closed, touch your shoulders with your fingertips. And then inhale here and exhale, the elbows will come forward and they'll come up and they'll go out and they'll come down. And again, just 4 of these. And you're noticing how big or how small. You're noticing any snap, crackles, and pops. You're noticing if the head wants to go along for the ride or if it's staying still. And then after you've done 4 that direction, we'll go the other direction. And you'll just notice how this feels. So Doug Keller says that this range of motion is a little less normal for us. So you might feel different sensations. But again, you're just staying connected with the breath. You're feeling how this feels to move the body. Awesome. And after you've done this last fourth set, you'll go ahead and release the arms alongside the hips. Inhale, sweep your left arm up and overhead. Bend your left elbow, turn the palm to face the sky. And then you'll start to exhale and come over to the right, planting the right hand on the floor, keeping the left elbow bent. And you can just let the left back of hand touch the back of your head to add more weight, or you can start to straighten your left arm, but you're just noticing what's happening on your left rib cage. On your next in-breath, go ahead and come back up through center. As you exhale, lower the left hand down. Inhale, sweep your right arm up and overhead. Bend the right elbow, turn the palm to face the sky. And then exhale, little side bend towards the left. And again, with the palm facing up, you might keep the palm there. You might bend the elbow even more so the back of the hand touches the head. You might straighten the arm out, but you're paying attention to how it feels to breathe on that right side. And on your next in-breath, you'll come up through center. Exhale, lower that hand down. Both hands come to the fronts of your knees. And last little thing here, inhale, pull your heart forward and through. And then exhale, round through your spine. And you've just got 4 of those. And so you're noticing what cats and cows feel like seated here. How we rock forward and then back on the sit bones. Noticing if you can round even more through the spine, and just, again, staying connected to the breath. Can you hear the breath? Can you feel the breath? Can you sense the breath? Awesome. And then our last 2 things before we move on. So you can keep your eyes closed or open your eyes. It's totally up to you, but you'll cactus your elbows in front of you or little robot arms. I want you to make little Mr. Burns hands. So you're pushing your fingertips into each other, and then you'll inhale and open your elbows as wide as they'll go. And as you exhale, see if you can touch those elbows towards each other and actually touch. And then inhale, open. And you'll just do about 5 of these. So exhaling, hugging the elbows in. Making sure the elbows are in line with your shoulders, if not a little higher. And for these last 2 sets, if you'd like, you can inhale here and then exhale, drop your chin to your chest as you hug the elbows in. Yep, and then inhale, open. And then exhale, hug in. Great. Next in-breath, arms open out. Turn your palms to face behind you, thumbs to face down. I want you to drop your hands a little bit below your shoulders and imagine there's a wall behind you. Actively push back against that wall until you start to feel a stretch across the front of your chest, and see if you can radiate even more of your palm back behind you so that you can feel engagement in the back of the body to open the front of the body. Nice job. Next in-breath, sweep your arms forward, little robot arms, little zombie hands. Awesome. As you exhale, let's reach, or rather lift, our right arm up and over our left, crossing it over. So that's clear as mud. Yep, sorry guys. So lift your right arm up and over the left. Yep. And so we'll keep our arms away from each other for a moment. And I want you to dig your elbows into each other. Push both elbows away from each other. And if this is where that's going to work for you, you're going to stay there. Maybe you'll bring the backs of the palms towards each other. Now everyone lift your elbows up just a smidge. And then inhale, you'll lift the elbows up, and exhale, you'll draw the elbows down. And we just got 3 of these. And so you're just paying attention to what this feels like. Noticing again, so we started with Mr. Burns to start to open up the back and the shoulders. Our ability to trust ourselves really requires that we have an open heart. And so we're just taking the opportunity to notice how we need to establish that. Awesome sauce. The next time your elbows are parallel, let's go ahead and pause here. Pull both elbows over to the left. You might turn and look towards the right. You're pushing your right arm into your left arm. You're pulling your left arm into your right. Nice job. Next in-breath, come to center. And then as you exhale, go over to the other side. So you're pulling both arms to the right. So you're pushing the right elbow into the left. You're pulling the left into the right. You're looking to the left. Nice job. Inhale, come back through center. As you exhale, unwind the arms. Inhale, they sweep back. Turn the palms behind you and lower the hands just a little bit behind or a little bit lower than your shoulders. And with the hands super active, it's like you're pushing a wall back behind you. The shoulder blades come onto your chest and you feel a nice stretch across the front. Awesome. Next in-breath, arms come forward back to those weird little robots. And then exhale, switch sides. So now this time the left elbow should hook over. First, dig the elbows in towards each other, press them forward. If that's working, you stay right there. Otherwise, you bring the backs of the palms, or rather fronts of the palms, to touch. And then just 4 little sets. So inhaling, elbows lift, and then exhaling, coming down. And your head can go along for the ride as much as you want. You can round into that upper spine as much as you want, but you're just noticing what it feels like to have the outer arm stretch, the back of the shoulder blades stretch. Sometimes it feels like we can try to force ourselves to be where we're not. So these muscles in the back can become tight. Awesome. So go ahead and come back to neutral. And then we're going to go ahead, and this time we'll take our elbows over towards the right, and then we'll look towards the left. And again, you're pushing the left elbow into the right, you're pulling the right into the left. Next in breath, come back through center, and then we'll exhale and go to the opposite side. So elbows go to the left, right elbow pulls in, left elbow pushes out. See if you can drop that right elbow or right shoulder just a little bit. Yep. Next in breath, come through center. And then exhale, unwind the arms. Inhale, they come back. Awesome. Last little time. Now we're here. You can go ahead and bend the elbows if you'd like. Interlace the hands, and I want you to hug the elbows towards each other, shoulder blades towards each other, and see if you can squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back to reach the heart forward. And then you might dig the arms down towards the floor or reach them back behind you, but you'll just take a moment to pause and breathe there. Great. Awesome. Gently release your hands, and let's come forward onto hands and knees. As we make ourselves forward onto hands and knees, please make sure your blocks are towards the upper outer corners of your space. And if you need to pad your knees with a blanket, highly encouraged to do that. And the first thing that we'll take is just toe squat once we find ourselves there. Awesome. And so you'll tuck both sets of toes under and you'll sit super tall. This is something I learned this week from Doug Keller. I found this so challenging and I don't know why. You're going to touch your left shoulder. And I want you to just see if you can keep your left elbow in line with your left shoulder, and then just draw the arm bone back just a bit. And then you're going to hold on with the right hand. And I want you to just draw the arm as far forward and up as it'll go. And we're going towards what we normally find are as Ardha Gomukhasana, but you might find that this doesn't go. Turns out our serratus muscles coming all along the side, going up into the armpit. A lot of us have a lot of tightness up here. And so instead of being able to get your arm all the way up, you might find that it doesn't go very high. You might find that it also goes a lot higher, but you're just pausing and you're breathing. Awesome. And then we'll gently release that. Roll out the shoulders and we'll try the other side. Isn't that crazy? If you need to come out of toe squat. Otherwise, we'll continue to go to the other side. So just touch your right elbow, hold on with the left hand, and you just draw it back first. And then you're just going to see if you can lift it as high as it can go. And you can slightly push down right elbow into left hand as you push the right elbow up. But you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're drawing those front ribs in and back and saying, hello, serratus anterior. And then at the end of your next exhale, you'll gently release. You'll come forward, hands and knees. You'll pitter patter the tops of your feet, having a happy little temper tantrum. We were there quite a while. And again, we're paying attention to what feels good for us. Go ahead and take that counter stretch if you'd like. Awesome. And then moving on. Let's go ahead and come back forward to hands and knees. Great. First thing, just take 3 or 4 cats and cows before we do some stuff for your glutes. And so you're just paying attention to how the breath is moving in the body, rounding and flexing through the spine, rounding and extending through the spine. Nice work. And after these 4, just take any other movement that feels good to you. That might be a little twist. That might be a child's pose. That might be an upward facing dog. But you're noticing how the shoulders feel after we just did that initial part of moving and articulating through the head and articulating through the shoulders. And now we're articulating through the ribs. And so if you've done something one direction, such as a twist, please go to the other side. Awesome. And then we'll go ahead and make our way back to a neutral tabletop position. Awesome. Once we find ourselves in tabletop, let's make sure our hands are directly underneath our shoulders. Our knees are directly underneath our hips. And then I want everybody to take a cat pose once again, rounding through the spine. Now notice how much your belly draws in and up. Keep that, but reach your tail back and your crown forward. So you're coming back to a flat back, but you're pulling that low belly in as you do it. Oh, yep. Then let's go ahead and draw our right heel towards our right butt cheek. Flex through that foot. And I want you to squeeze your right butt enough to lift your right thigh parallel to the floor, keeping your back completely parallel. Yep. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, see if you can kick the foot up to the sky. Straight up. Yep. And you got 5 more of these. So you're just going to kick up. Yep. And we're pushing our low back up. Yep. Lifting through that inner right thigh as we, yeah, right? Isn't this fun? I know. Hello, butt. Hello, hamstrings. Awesome. After you've taken 5, you're going to keep your knee bent and keep pushing your foot up. Lift up through your big toe mound. Press up through your inner thigh and see if you can lift that thigh just a little bit higher. Nice job. On your next exhale, your right knee will come towards your left knee. And then inhale, open it out towards the right, out behind you. Sorry. So we're just making really slow circles. So the right knee will come towards the left, go out towards the right, come back up behind you, and then repeat that. And so we're trying to see if we can keep our spine the same the whole time. So I took a prenatal class, and this is how we get our obliques without crunching our babies. So happy days, guys. So as you open that right knee out to the right, it can come as far up towards your right shoulder as you want, but we're trying to keep our low back long the whole time. And after you've done 4 one way, you're going to reverse and go the other way. Hooray! Hello, butts. Hello, butts. Hello, obliques. We're doing it all. All right. And so you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. And as best as you can, keep the weight even in the hand. So notice if you've shifted weight over to that left hand or if it's still in the right. Yep. And then after you've done those 4 slow circles, you'll simply lower that right knee down. You'll take some cats and cows, and you'll just notice how that feels. Notice how that feels. So some things we do know we need to sort of encourage ourselves to do, you know, brushing our teeth, probably one of those things you may not always feel like doing, especially during COVID when nobody saw you but you, but you kind of got to do it. We know that. And then there are other things that we know that we have to do that we don't always want to do either, but that doesn't mean everything falls into that category of must do, even though I don't want to. There's some things we can say no to. All right, so let's go ahead and come back to neutral. And then we're going to try this on the other side. So first things first, let's round through our spines a lot. Keep that low belly pulling in and up, but then reach your tailbone back and reach your sternum forward. Yep, keeping that engaged. Now bend your left knee, drawing your left heel towards your butt, flex through that left foot, and then go ahead and lift that left thigh up parallel to the floor without losing the low back. Yep. And with that left thigh parallel to the floor, you're going to go ahead and then kick up about 5 times. Up. There we go. And you're seeing if you can lift from your inner left thigh by pushing up through your left big toe. Sounds really crazy, but you're like, yep, hello, hamstrings. Hello, glutes. And we want to see if we can keep our weight even. So, yep. And then after you've done 5, we'll start our 4 slow circles. So you'll inhale and the left knee will come towards the floor, and exhale, it'll open out to the left and up behind you. Awesome. And you're just doing that 4 times. And you're seeing if the weight has gone over to that right hand, or if you can keep it balanced between the right and the left hand so that we can get the glutes and the adductors and the core, all of that to work. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And after you've done 4 one direction, you switch sides. Erica, put a bit more weight in your left hand. Haha, yep. Awesome. And after you've done your 4, you'll just come and do your little cats and cows before we go to downward facing dog. And you'll just notice what that feels like. Happy little breath, noticing what that feels like. Is that too bad on our butts? No? Okay. Great. And so from your cats and cows, let's go ahead and make our way to a downward facing dog. And Jenny, you can do dolphin if that's easier on the wrists. Okay. And then once you find yourself in down dog, notice if for you, you need to bend your knees. Notice if for you, you want to fidget around a little bit, going from right to left. Notice if for you, it might feel better to lift your armpits up and away from the floor to keep the space between your neck and your shoulders. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and add on. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Now pause here. See if you can press back through that big toe mound and lift up through that inner thigh as much as you just did. Yep. And then exhale, step that foot quietly to your hands. Now, if you need to have a long, wider stance, you can widen that right foot out to the right or leave it just as it is. Some of you might want to bring your hands onto your blocks, but you're going to pull your heart and sternum forward. And then on your next exhale, you'll lower your back knee down to the floor. You can stay here just pushing the foot, pushing in the knee, and see if reaching the heart forward feels good. You can bring both hands to the belly of that right thigh and start to push down in order to lift the pelvis up and away from it. Now you'll push down into the back knee, you'll push down into the front foot, suck those points together. And if that feels good, you stay here. Option is to touch your left shoulder in that weird position that we started. And again, we want to start with that arm parallel to the floor. And then if you'd like, imagining or maybe even lifting the arm up. But you're noticing how that changes the stretch across the left hip dramatically. I don't know why the heck that happened, but I was like, oh my God. And so you're just going to breathe, and you're breathing and you're pushing into that foot, and you're noticing if you can soften your face. And then on your next exhale, you'll gently release that. You can stay here if you'd like, or shift your weight forward. Grab the back foot with your left hand. And then maybe you'll come back up again, flexing through that left foot, drawing the heel towards your pelvis or kicking it away. But you're paying attention to how this is feeling in your body. Awesome sauce. Very mindfully release the back foot, hands come back down to floor or blocks, tuck the back toes under, straighten the back leg long. Now really squeeze that back butt cheek a lot. Inhale, reach your heart and sternum forward, and then exhale, straighten that front leg long. And you just got 4 of these. And so you'll inhale, bend the front knee, coming forward, and then exhale, straightening the front leg, going back. And as you take these next 2 on your own, if you want to peel the sole of the right foot up and away from the floor, by all means do that. If you want to keep the foot fully anchored, by all means do that. But you're just noticing, how does it feel in your body? How are you moving in your body? Great. The next time you shift your pelvis back, go ahead and pause there for just 2 to 3 breath cycles. Again, you might keep the sole of the foot on the floor. You might peel the sole of the foot up and away from the floor. If you've done that, you might walk the blocks back so they're underneath your shoulders. Yep. And then you might spin on the heel of the right foot if the sole of the foot is away from the floor. But again, you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. How does this feel in your body? Nice work, guys. Next in breath, come back through center. As you exhale, shift your weight forward, plant your palms, step yourselves back to downward facing dog. Awesome sauce. Now this is going to sound super weird. I want you to inhale and come forward to the worst plank of your life, meaning you're more like a tunnel than a board. So more like a tunnel than a board. Yep. And as you're that tunnel, I want you to lift up through those inner armpits, push the hands down and forward. And then just as we did before, see if you can keep the core that engaged, but reach your butt back and your crown forward. Oh, hello. Nice job. Next exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome sauce. Take 3 breaths. If you need to fidget around, fidget around. If you don't, you don't. But you're just noticing what feels good to you. You're giving yourself permission to trust that whatever impulse is coming from your body is one that you can respond to, work with, be with. It's not something you have to talk yourself into or out of. How your body's feeling is how your body's feeling. Awesome. Let's go ahead and add on, or move on to the other side rather. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Make sure those hips are square, press back through that left big toe, and then exhale, step that foot quietly to your hands. Awesome sauce. Now, once you're there, hands might come back to blocks. You'll inhale, reach your heart forward and through the gates of your arms, and then exhale, gently lower that back knee down to the floor. Now, you might stay here and just push through the fingers and reach your heart and sternum forward. Happy days. You might bring both hands to the belly of that front thigh and push the thigh away to bring the spine a bit more vertical and lift the pelvis. And you might stay happily here, pushing in the right knee, pushing in the left foot. You might touch your right shoulder. And again, you can reach that elbow forward, imagining that your arm is lifting you. And it's just very strange how this, I'm not sure why, but it just, getting that serratus gets a different part of my diaphragm and my hip flexor doesn't always feel so good. So you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing the sensations and noticing your response to them. Awesome. On your next in breath, see if you can soften your face. And then you'll exhale and gently release. Both hands come back to the floor. You might bend that back knee, reach back with your right hand and grab the foot with your right hand. From there, you might stay there or you might come back up to vertical. And again, we're still pushing into that left foot a lot, pushing into that right knee a lot, seeing if we can lift up through the pubic bone. Awesome, sauce. And then very gently, you'll come forward, releasing that right foot, bringing the right foot to the floor, tucking the toes under, straightening the right leg long, squeeze that right butt cheek, and then inhale heart and sternum forward, and exhale, straighten that front leg long. And you've just got 4 of these. And so as you go forward and back, you're just attending to what's present in the body, noticing how the hips are moving as you go forward and back. Notice how the breath is moving in your body. Great. And for these last 2 sets, if you'd like, that sole of the left foot might stay on the floor. You might start to peel it up and away from the floor. Laura, draw your outer left hip back when you go back. Yeah, there you go. And the next time you go back, you'll go ahead and stay there. You might keep the sole of the left foot on the floor. You might peel it up. Make sure the blocks are where they're comfortable for you. So maybe that's underneath the shoulders. Maybe it's a little further forward. You might spin the whole left thigh out to the left if you're on the left heel. But again, you're just paying attention, you're breathing, you're noticing what works for you. Awesome sauce. Next in breath, let's come back to neutral. As you exhale, plant the palms on the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Great. And then we're going to come back to our down dog, just pausing, moving around if you need to, being still if you need to, but you've got 3 breaths. And you're just noticing what it feels like to give yourself space and the opportunity to do what feels good to you. Awesome. And then let's go ahead and come to stillness. Let's inhale and come back to that weird tunnel position. So we're in that weird plank, the low belly's drawing in. Yep. And then from here, you're going to see if you can keep that front ribs in that much, but reach your tailbone, pubic bone back and your crown forward. And notice how that's a different type of plank. Nice job, guys. Exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome. Inhale, lower your knees to the mat. And exhale, round through child's pose. 3 breaths. 3 breaths. Are we doing okay? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we sound real okay. We're like, yeah, we're tired. All right, 2 more things before we stand up. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and inhale and come back to hands and knees. All right, so exhale, round through your cat shape. Keep your low belly in like that, and then inhale, pubic bone back, sternum and crown forward, keeping the front ribs in that much. Great. Next in breath, let's go ahead and take our right foot back and float our right foot leg parallel to the floor. Great. Keep lifting through that inner right thigh. Keep pulling that low belly in and up. And on your next in breath, see if you can lengthen the spine. As you exhale, open your right leg to the right, parallel to the floor. Oh, yep. Exhale, swing it back. Yep, and you got 4 of these. It can go as far as it wants to go. You're paying attention to what feels like it's happening in your hip and in your outer glute. The higher the leg is from the floor, the harder that is, but harder is not necessarily better. And you're paying attention to how much you're sending your weight into that left hand. Can you keep the weight even? Yep, into both hands as you do that. And the next time that right leg comes out to the right, hovering off the floor, we're gonna hold here for 3, squeeze your butt for 2, breathe in for 1. Next exhale, lower that foot down to the floor, out to the right. So right foot in line with left knee, yep. And you're just gonna push your right pinky toe down, and you can either walk your hands forward as you walk your pelvis back, or just simply lower your forearms down to the floor. We're looking for a stretch on the inner edge of your right thigh. And so you're just pausing and you're breathing here. And you're breathing and you're pausing and you're pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing. So sometimes it feels like it's a little bit more intense of a stretch if I walk my torso forward and then arc it over towards the right a little. It's strange. I'm not sure why that does that, but so going up and to the right, it just, if you're not feeling much on the inner right thigh, it just intensifies the stretch that's going on the inner right thigh. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. And it's almost like you're blossoming your buttocks right back behind you. It's very fun how the fascia works in the body. It doesn't necessarily work in the most logical way, but it is also very logical. So it's kind of fun. Awesome. Let's start to come out of this. Walk both hands underneath your shoulders. I want you to wiggle walk your right foot towards your left knee just a smidge. And then start to walk your hands over so your left hand is in line with your left knee. Your right hand can touch the back of your head like you're a movie star on a beach. I don't know if they would do this. And then you're going to push down into the left hand, push down into the left knee, push down into the right foot, lengthen your tailbone towards the right leg, and maybe open your chest towards the sky. Now, if that feels good to you, you can stay there. You can bring the back of your right palm to your head, and then you might reach the fingertips down towards the floor, and that might intensify the stretch happening there. You can also just straighten the arm, but you're paying attention to how that feels for you. Great. Very gently, we'll bring our right hand to the floor next to our left hand. You might want to walk your left hand forward about an inch. Then you'll roll open back towards the center. Bring your right hand to the right hip. Float your right leg parallel to the floor. Now once, oh, I know, right? And so some of us might need to draw our right hip heel back just a little bit so we can feel our glute med work. Yep. And then you're just going to pause here. Some of you will bend that top knee, your right knee, reach around and grab that outer ankle with your right hand. Now, everyone push down into your left hand, lengthen your tailbone down to your right knee. And if you want to, you'll stay here just hugging your right heel to your pelvis, or you'll push down, rotate your chest open and start to kick your foot back. But your tailbone is lengthening down a lot. And then notice if you want to have your head drip down, or head look center, or head look up. You're paying attention to what feels best to you. And then very gently release that foot. Extend the right leg back to the right. Lower the right foot down. Lower the right hand down. Come back through center. Come back through tabletop. And you can cat and cow your way out of it. Take some twists out of it. Fidget around out of it. But you're just noticing what you notice. So there are some things that, you know, I do like something I heard this morning from Roberta. She said you could use things as an opportunity to practice. And so we're practicing building our strength in our legs because we're going to stand up after we do this other side. Awesome sauce. Once you're ready, let's come back to a still neutral position. Exhale, round through your spine a lot. Keep pulling your low ribs in. And then inhale, reach your tailbone, pubic bone back, crown forward, keeping those low ribs pulling in and up. Next, in-breath, sweep your left leg back, lifting it parallel to the floor. And you're lifting through that inner left thigh a lot, yep. Inhale, find length through your spine. And then exhale, the leg opens out to the left, parallel-ish to the floor. And then come back. And you've got 4 of these. And you're just paying attention. The exhale kicks the leg to the left. The inhale comes back. And you're noticing how much of the weight you can keep even on the right hand and the left hand. Is it all going to the right hand? Or can you keep it? All yours goes to your left hand? That's interesting. I like that then. So we'll see if we can keep it even. And then the next time our left leg comes to the left, we're going to pause there, hovering the leg for 3, breathing in for 2, hovering for 1, lower the foot to the floor. Yep. Bring the pinky toe edge to the floor. Maybe just lower your elbows to the floor. Maybe walk your hands forward and arc just a little bit towards the left. But you're paying attention to how this feels to breathe. You're keeping that left thigh engaged. So the kneecap is pulling up, especially my hypermobile people. Yep. So we're finding a supported, engaged stretch. Yep. Great. At the end of your next exhale, the hands will come back underneath the shoulders. Once the hands are under the shoulders, smidge, wiggle walk that left foot in just a little bit. Then start to walk your hands to the right, bringing the right hand in line with your right knee. From here, you can bring your left hand to the back of your head like that little movie star starlet. And then we're just going to push down into all the things that are touching the floor. So the right hand, the right knee, the pelvis lengthens down and towards that inner left thigh. The left foot presses down. Maybe your head pushes back into your hand and you lean back. You might stay there. You might bring the back of the left hand to the floor and then start to drip the finger to the floor. Sorry, back of the left hand to the left head, your only head. Wow. And then you'll reach down there. You might straighten the arm out completely, but you're just noticing how turning the palm facing up or facing down really changes what's happening on the side body. And then as you're ready, you'll gently lower that left hand to the floor next to the right. Walk your right hand forward just an inch or so. Then bring that left hand to your left hip, open the chest again. From there, start to float the left leg parallel-ish to the floor, flexing through that foot. Squeeze your top glute, your left glute, and you might need to swing the leg back just a smidge. And then from there, you'll bend the back knee if you'd like. Grab the outside edge of that left foot. And before you go anywhere, we're pushing down into the points of contact, lengthen tailbone into that inner left thigh. And then you might rotate the chest forward and up. You might keep hugging that left heel towards your pelvis, or you might kick it straight back. But you're paying attention to the points of contact. So that right hand, right foot. Awesome sauce. As you're ready, notice if the head wants to go down, be neutral, or go up. And then very gently release that left foot, open it back out, lower the left hand down, lower the left foot down, crawl back through center, and this time make your way back to a downward facing dog. And you'll just pedal and move and fidget in any way that feels good to you. If a child's pose feels like that's a more appropriate stop, by all means, you do that. Great. Awesome. So from down dog, take 3 more breaths. And I want you to do whatever feels good to you here. Is that puffing up those inner armpits? Is that coming forward just a little bit in the hands, lifting through the armpits and then pushing the shoulders back to the hips up and away? Great. Let's go ahead and everyone meet in down dog, and then we'll go ahead and move on. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. And as you exhale, quietly step that right foot between your hands. Awesome. Spin the back foot down and bring yourself up to warrior 2. Now, once you get to warrior 2, I want you to notice if you need to adjust the feet so they're longer and wider, and you just do whatever feels best to you. And I want you to push down into both feet so much that you feel really rooted. And as you push down into both feet, hug the feet in and push them out at the same time. Turn your palms to face back behind you, thumbs to face down to the floor. Now with the thumbs facing down, palms facing back, you're pushing into that imaginary wall once again and lowering maybe the hands just a little bit lower than your shoulders, just so you feel that stretch across your pec. Great. Now, as though we're taking off our shirts, I know it sounds weird, but your hands are going to come in front of you. And then you're going to lift them up and over your head. Palms are still facing the sky. And you're going to see if you can bend even more. And notice what this orientation does into the neck and into the shoulders. Next in breath, both arms are going to open out. And we're going to leave them a little bit higher than they normally would be. Lower the hands to where they would be. Turn the palms to face back, thumbs to face down. And again, I want you to notice what it feels like to push both hands back behind you as though you're pushing into a wall. And then hands will come in front of you like you're taking off a shirt. Arms will reach up and overhead, elbows stay bent. Take a breath cycle there, just noticing what that feels like. And on your next in-breath, open the arms out. Awesome. Reach forward through that right arm, bringing the right hand down to the inside edge of your foot or floor. Maybe it comes onto the block. Maybe the forearm just comes onto the knee. And then from there, you'll sweep your left arm over your head. And I want you to pay attention. How do you need to work in this shape? Can you continue to push down through both feet? You okay? Okay. And then as you push down through both feet, can you hug in with that outer right hip especially? And then notice with that front knee still bent, if you can find length on the right side and let it rotate, the ribs rotate under and up. Great. On your next in-breath, turn your gaze to the floor. As you exhale, come to a low lunge. Pause here, both feet parallel, and then step yourself back to a downward facing dog. Pause and breathe. If you'd like, you can come back to that weird tunnel plank where you can stay right here, but you're just gonna pause and you're gonna breathe. And those in the tunnel plank, once you're in that shape, you'll take a breath and then you'll go back to your downward facing dog. Great, and let's try the other side. Inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step your left foot towards your hands. Spin your right foot down and inhale, come up for warrior two. Now take a moment to pause here. Notice if you need to adjust the feet right to left, front to back. Continue to bend into your front knee as best as you can, pushing down into the feet, hugging them into each other while pressing them away. Great. Turn your palms to face back behind you, thumbs face down. Lower them just a little bit below your shoulders. And then imagine that you're pushing into a wall. Actively push your palms back until you feel a nice stretch coming across the front of the upper collarbones. All right, next exhale, hands will come in front of you like you're taking off a shirt. The elbows will stay bent and the elbows will be above your head. And you'll just take a few moments to pause and breathe there. And then on your next in-breath, open the arms out, arms a little higher than shoulders. Great. Bring the hands to shoulder height, turn the palms to face down and lower the hands just a smidge. Push back into that imaginary wall. Nice job. Hands will then come in front of you once again. Remove the imaginary shirt, elbows bent, palms face up. Take a moment to pause and breathe here. Nice work, ladies. Next in-breath, open the arms out, reaching with arms a little bit higher than shoulders for today. Great. Next in-breath, reach forward, out and down, bringing left forearm maybe to top of left thigh or left hand to floor or block inside left foot. And then that right arm will sweep up and over. And you'll take the first few breaths to really find the foundation of your feet. And then notice how you want the hand. Do you want the palm facing down? Do you want the palm facing up? Can you wrap the left ribs under, right ribs up? Yeah. Next in breath, go ahead and turn your gaze to the floor as you exhale, low lunge. Step yourself back to downward facing dog. And again, you can either come back to that planky pose, that weird tunnel plank, or not. But we'll all meet in child's pose, so you figure out how and when you want to get there. You figure out how and when you want to get there. And once you find yourself in child's pose, I encourage you to take the opportunity to notice. Do you want the arms forward today? Do you want the arms back? If the arms are forward, how does it feel to let the palms sort of radiate up towards the sky? So your thumbs will spin up to the sky and then out and away from each other. And then if you've done that, can you soften across the neck? Soften across the shoulders. Yep, and you just got 2 or 3 breaths. 2 or 3 breaths. Awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and gently turn our palms back to the floor if they're facing the sky. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press yourself up to sit. All right, how are we doing? Yeah, okay. Our in-studio audience seems a little tired. At home audience, how are we doing? I got 2 thumbs up, 4 thumbs up. Great. Okay. So we're going to bring our butts to the floor. So you can sit on a block, you can sit on a blanket, you can sit on whatever you want to sit on. And the first thing that we're going to do is, so we did all that crazy stuff. I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. And you're just going to draw your heels towards your chest. And our thumbs can come to the inside edges of your feet, like you're just lightly opening the pages of a book. And we're just going to hinge forward. So we want to see if we can keep our spine super neutral. And you're just going to hinge forward. That might bring the elbows onto the inner thighs. It might not. You might find that you want to have one end or both of your blocks available so that you can sort of just rest your elbows on them. But you're just going to take 3 to 5 breaths here. And you can turn the gaze inward. You can allow yourself to once again come back to your breath and just observe and notice how this feels. Awesome. We've got 2 more breath cycles here. And you're just pausing and you're paying attention, noticing specifically what's happening around your neck and shoulders. So we started at the beginning of our practice, paying attention to head and neck articulations. And so you just see how that impacts, or rather how you're holding your shoulders right here is impacting what you're feeling in your neck. Great. From here, we're going to slightly come up. So if the hands are on the blocks, you'll push into the blocks and bring your spine back up, or you'll just walk your spine back up. And then we're going to close our legs together and walk our feet forward. So depending upon whether or not you're making a human at the moment, we'll bend our left thigh under and put our right foot over. If you're currently making a human, you're going to twist to the left. If you're not making a human, you're going to twist to the right. That's hilarious. You're making a human. You are though. And actually, I guess all of you are making humans. You're making the human that's on your mat. You're making the humans that you're involved with. So technically, we're all making humans. And so I want you to sit as tall as you can in whichever variation you're in. Well, we're all making new humans. You're becoming a new Roberta every day. I'm becoming a new Jessica every day. Erica's becoming a new Erica. Jenny's becoming a new Jenny. She's got an Alexander and another one. Laura's becoming a new Laura. We're all becoming new people every day. Technically, that's actually true. All right, on your next in-breath, come back through center. If you think about your cells, they're constantly redoing themselves. Never mind. All right, you're gonna go to the other side when you're ready. I got a 7 from Erica. What does that mean? I can't hear you.
Your cells turn over every 7 days. You're a brand new person.
See, she said your cells turn over every 7 days. You're a brand new person. Roberta just rolled her eyes at that, Erica. Okay, and then we'll, and she shrugged. And so you'll go to twist to the other side and you'll just pause and you'll breathe and you'll take your time. So, I mean, as we are getting into this side, and, you know, science does say we are making a new human. I think we have the ability to make our new humans and trust ourselves a little bit more as we become that new human. How do you want to trust yourself more? How do you want to like yourself more, love yourself more, show up for those in your life more? And what strengths, what boundaries, what supports might you need in order to make that happen? Awesome. All right, you got 2 more breath cycles here. Erica, see if you can sit a little taller through the spine, lifting up through the sternum, and then drawing the left low belly in. Yeah, awesome. Next in-breath, let's go ahead and unwind. And then as you exhale, uncross your legs. My people will then start to make your way to your backs. If you want to cover your bodies at this point, go ahead and do that. Make sure you have a block and or blanket somewhere nearby if you feel like you like those things for Shavasana. So you'll make your way back down. We're going to do bridge first, and then we're going to do Shavasana. Roberta, I'm going to borrow some of your pillows and things for Jenny in case she wants them. And then so the first thing that you're going to do is just lay down and take a moment to see what that feels like. So we did a lot of stuff to start with the shoulders. So I want you to notice how your shoulders feel on the floor right now. If it feels okay to turn the palms to face up, and then make sure both feet are parallel to each other and sit bone distance apart. And then when you're ready, you'll just push down through your feet. You'll push down through your arms. You'll lift your hips up. And the first thing that I'd like you to do is notice how you want your arms. Do you want a cactus, the elbows? Do you want a robot, the elbows? Do you want the arms straight? Do you not? Do you want the hands interlaced? Do you not? So you'll find that first. The next thing, we spend all this time engaging our glutes. So let's see if we can push down through our big toe mounds. Yep. You're lengthening your tailbone forward and lifting your outer hips up. And then we got all that. And then notice if there are any adjustments that need to be made in your shoulders, in your head, and how you're breathing here. We're going to just stay here for another 4 to 5 breaths. And you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. How does this feel? How are the feet working? How are you working with your feet? At the end of your next exhale, if the hands are clasped, you'll release them. Untuck your shoulders and bring your pelvis back down to the floor. And you'll just take 2 to 3 breath cycles. And then we'll have the option to do that again should you want to. But you're just pausing and you're breathing and you're noticing what you notice. And now, since we do have those blocks easily accessible, if you would like to do a more passive bridge, you can put one of those blocks, both of those blocks underneath your sacrum, or you can take a more active bridge and lift up once again. But you're basing this based upon how the body feels, how it feels like you are most able to be open and supported, how you are most able to trust your own inner knowing, your own inner being. And you've just got 3 to 4 breath cycles here. So whichever variation you're in, yeah, Roberta, if you want to do that, go ahead. You just allow yourself to do that. You know, I had a talk with one of my acting teachers recently, and, you know, there's an audition that I want to go to, and he's like, yeah, you should go to it, but you just don't go to it thinking you're going to get approval. I was like, all right. But it's true. There's so many things that we do where we don't trust ourselves necessarily because we're seeking validation or approval from another, but how can we give it to ourselves, you know? All right, those that are in those active bridges, go ahead and come down. Those that are in passive bridge, if you'd like to stay there, by all means do that. At this point, I would like you to check in with your body and see if there are any final shape or shapes that would feel super good to you. And then you'll go ahead and do that before we settle into Shavasana. And again, we want to notice that in order to really trust ourselves, marrying these two ideas together, we can't necessarily be seeking validation or approval from someone else. You know, because as my teacher said, he said, even if you got it, it wouldn't mean anything to you because you wouldn't be able to trust it. So as you're here for these last few breath cycles, doing whatever the heck you happen to be doing, we're allowing ourselves to make ourselves the authority figure on what is good for us, where our sense of self-validation comes from, self-trust, self-approval. Because then once we have that, then it'll give us the ability to gain that, or at least trust when someone else is giving us some type of validation or approval. All right, how can I help you? Okay. So let's do, and do you want 2 or just 1? Okay. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Casa Roberta. Okay, so as we find ourselves in our final shape, first invitation is to really get comfortable. So if there's any final little adjustments, moves, wiggles, sniggles you need to do, by all means, go ahead and do that. And then what we'll do over the next series of moments is I want you to just take a big breath in. At the top of your inhalation, you'll hold the breath for a couple beats, and then an audible big breath out. Yep, and you'll just do that 2 more times. Big breath in. Hold the breath at the top for a couple beats, and then big breath out. And last one, big breath in. Hold the breath at the top for a couple beats, and then a big audible breath out. And as you continue to settle into the shape, I would like to present the idea that with every exhale, the body naturally starts to soften. It starts to exhale and let go, just as much as it did when we were doing it consciously and deliberately. It seems that for many of us, myself included, that's where self-trust really comes from. It comes from this letting go, this exhaling, this releasing the need to control, to predict, to plan, to manipulate or alter or shape. And what we're really giving ourselves the ability to do is to just open up into life and all its wonderful gifts that is happening to present us in every given moment, in every interaction, in every breath. So as you're here for these last few moments, as I leave you in silence, I encourage you to just allow yourself to be with whatever sensations are there and stay with this idea of letting go of any of the unnecessary tension with every exhale. Return your awareness to your breath. As you come back to your breath, just allow yourself to check in. If there's any part of you that's longing to linger in this shape, please stay here as long as you'd like. When you are ready, you'll invite small movement into your physical form. Those in stillness, stay as long as you'd like. Those in movement, start to make your way to one of your sides. When you get to your side, just stay there, pausing and breathing. From there, you'll slowly make your way up to a tall, comfortable seat, perhaps elevating your pelvis on a block or a blanket or anything you got. And then we'll just end the way that we began. So I want you to sit as tall as you can. Again, soften the gaze down or close the eyes completely. And you'll just take a series of breaths and you'll notice what's present for you right here and right now. I feel like in many ways, our ability to trust ourselves is a continual practice. There are things that we experience that help us feel a little bit more confident in that, and things that we experience and make us question that. But it's all just growing, it's all strength building, kind of like that glute work. And so you'll just pause and you'll take your last 3 breaths here, repeating to yourself internally the words thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to grow. Thank you for the opportunity to experience and explore all that is life. Thank you for the things that help me trust myself and trust more of others as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and complete our practice by drawing our hands to our heart center. Press your palms into each other, receive the weight of your thumbs into your sternum, and then lift your heart towards your hands. Gently exhale all the breath from your mouth. Take a big breath in. Audible breath out. Inhale for Om. Join if you'd like. To that light, to that breath, and to that sound, we bow. Namaste.